Have you ever felt like you were loved, but never really seen? Like your needs were invisible, your feelings too inconvenient, and your silence somehow easier for everyone to accept? You learned to smile so no one would ask questions, to shrink yourself so others could be comfortable, to be the easy child, the one who never caused trouble, even when you were quietly falling apart. But that kind of childhood leaves a mark, not a loud, obvious wound, a silent one. A grief so deep, it doesn't even feel like grief, it just feels like you. And here's the part no one tells you. That pain doesn't just fade with time. It grows roots in your self-worth, your relationships, your voice. But what if being unseen wasn't the end of your story? What if everything you were never given, you could finally give to yourself? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why you feel this way, where that pain comes from, and how to start healing the part of you that still thinks it has to disappear to be loved. There's a kind of grief that doesn't come from death. It comes from absence, from growing up in a world where your emotions were too loud, your needs too inconvenient, and your soul too much. It's the grief of never being mirrored, never being held in your rawness, never being told, "I see you." Not just your behavior, not your grades or your performance, but you. And when that kind of mirroring is missing, you start to question your own existence. You begin to wonder, did I matter? Or was I just useful? This is the silent epidemic. Millions of us walking around in adult bodies, carrying the emotional blueprint of a child who never felt emotionally safe. And the thing is, no one told you what was missing, because on paper, everything looked fine. There was food, a roof, maybe even smiles and family photos. But behind the scenes, your feelings were dismissed. Your tears were met with, "Stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about." Your anger made people uncomfortable. Your joy had to be quiet. So you adapted. You stopped asking for too much. You turned your pain into silence, your curiosity into compliance, and your need for love into a kind of numb survival. But the body never forgets. The nervous system remembers every moment it had to shut down to stay safe. And that's what this grief is. It's not just emotional. It's somatic. It's in your chest when you wake up feeling heavy for no reason. It's in the way you overthink every interaction, trying to earn connection. It's in the way you feel exhausted after being around people. Because pretending to be okay is a full-time job. And still, deep down, there's a flicker of longing. A whisper that says, "Maybe someone will finally see me." That whisper is why you're here. And it's more important than you realize. Because what you're grieving isn't just the past. You're grieving the version of you that never got to be born. And now, you have the chance to meet them. Let's go deeper. Psychologically, this wound is called emotional neglect. But that term doesn't capture its depth. It's not about what happened to you. It's about what didn't. What didn't get said. What didn't get felt. What never got held. When you're a child, your sense of self forms through reflection, through how others respond to your joy, your sadness, your anger, your fear. When those emotions are dismissed, mocked, or ignored, you learn one message loud and clear. I am only lovable when I'm not fully me. This creates a split inside. A false self emerges. The performer, the pleaser, the peacekeeper, the invisible one. You become skilled at reading rooms, sensing tension, shifting yourself to match what others want. You become the chameleon. But the cost of that adaptation is identity erosion. You lose access to your own feelings, desires, boundaries. because no one helped you form them. And here's the trap. As an adult, this pattern continues. You might attract emotionally unavailable partners because they mirror the original absence. You might overgive in relationships, trying to earn the connection you were always denied. You might even feel guilty for taking up space, as if your existence requires constant justification. That's not weakness. That's survival. Your inner child created those patterns to protect you. But now, they're no longer protecting. They're repeating. And until that inner child is heard, until the pain of being unseen is seen, you'll keep wondering why nothing ever feels enough. Because emotional neglect isn't just a childhood experience. It becomes an internal belief system. You carry it like an echo, and it whispers things like, "Don't bother them. You're too emotional. Stay small. Don't be a burden." But those voices aren't you. They're borrowed from a time when you didn't have the power to choose. Now you do. There is a sacred truth hidden inside this pain. In Hermetic and mystical traditions, there's a concept called the shadow. It is not your enemy. It is your orphan self. The parts of you that were too wild, too honest, too radiant, to be accepted. When you were told to quiet down, your voice went into the shadow. When your tears were shamed, your vulnerability went into the shadow. When you felt too different, too sensitive, too deep, your soul began to retreat inward. The shadow is not darkness. It is unloved light, buried, hidden, repressed. Not because it was wrong, but because it was too true for the world you were born into. And now it calls to you. Every moment you feel empty. Every relationship that leaves you hollow. Every trigger that sends you spiraling. It is the shadow asking, "Will you see me now?" In esoteric psychology, this is your initiation. To become whole, you must reclaim the pieces you exiled. This is not surface-level healing. This is inner alchemy, turning abandonment into sovereignty, turning shame into sacred truth, turning silence into song. Your suffering isn't random. It's archetypal. You are the wounded healer, the seeker, the initiate, and the wound of being unseen is the exact doorway through which your true self will be revealed. In the darkness of that silence, there is a voice waiting, not loud, not demanding, but ancient. It says, "I am still here. I never left. Come find me." But healing isn't a straight line. There's a war inside you. A part of you wants to be seen, desperately, painfully, and another part is terrified of what will happen if you are. Because if you finally speak, what if they don't listen? If you finally show yourself, what if they leave? So you dance this push-pull, craving intimacy but sabotaging it, longing for connection but mistrusting every compliment. You say you want to be loved, but you don't believe you're worthy of being chosen. It's not that you're broken. It's that you were trained to abandon yourself before anyone else could. You reject your own feelings before others get the chance. You minimize your pain so no one thinks you're too much. You wear a mask so well, even you start to forget what's underneath. And yet, every now and then, you catch a glimpse. Maybe in a song. Maybe in the way your chest aches during a quiet evening. Maybe in a dream. That flicker is the real you. And it's not gone. It's waiting. But to reclaim it, you'll have to walk through fear. Through grief. Through every voice that said, "You're only valuable when you're small." Because the truth is, your silence was never yours to carry. And it's okay to put it down now. So how do we begin? Not by fixing, not by pretending, but by gently turning inward. Start here. Find a photo of yourself as a child. Look into their eyes. What do you see? Now ask them, what did you need that no one gave you? Sit with the answer. Let it break you open if it must. This is not weakness. This is emotional reparenting. You become the one who sees, the one who holds space, the one who says, you don't have to disappear to be loved. Try shadow journaling. Write to the parts of you that feel unworthy, unseen, unloved. Let them speak without judgment. Do mirror work. Stand in front of yourself. Hold your own gaze. Say, I see you. I hear you. I will not leave you. Use spiritual inquiry. Ask, who was I before I believed I had to be perfect? And above all, let your emotions be real. Cry. Yell. Feel. Because what was denied in childhood must be allowed in healing. You don't have to rush. You don't need to become a new person. You just need to return to the one you were always meant to be. The silence you grew up in was never your fault. But breaking that silence, that's your sacred responsibility. Some wounds don't bleed. They echo. And the echo of emotional neglect is the softest scream. The kind that no one else can hear. But you feel it every day. But maybe that echo is not here to haunt you. Maybe it's here to guide you. Because inside the grief of being unseen is the longing to see yourself. And that's what you're doing now. Not just healing, remembering. You were never too much. You were never too sensitive. You were never wrong for feeling deeply. You were just waiting for someone to see past the mask, to hold the real you, to say, you don't have to hide anymore. Let that someone be you. And if you feel this message in your bones, share it. Not for views, not for likes, but because someone else out there is still carrying that same invisible grief. And your voice might be the one that finally says, I see you. Subscribe for more if this helped you find a piece of yourself again. We're not just building an audience. We're building a sanctuary. And you belong here.